Captain Play guys and gals. This is Captain Play Guy. Happy Halloween. I'm doing something special and different today. I'm doing a Give Yourself Goosebumps reading, and you in the audience in the chat get to vote on every single choice. The one that I've got here today is number 6. Beware of the purple peanut butter. I'll read a little bit off of the back. Talk about snack attack. Your aunt and uncle told you to stay out of their basement, so of course you check it out. That's where you find the dusty old refrigerator. Hey, Hiko Cake, how you doing? Is my chat box working, or is that an old message? I hope my chat box working. Maybe I got it in the wrong layer for my webcam. Sorry about that. Doing well? I'm glad to hear. In the fridge there are 2 containers. One is filled with purple goop. It smells just like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The other holds a piece of chocolate cake. Your stomach is growling. Happy Halloween. I am doing fine, thank you very much. I'm excited to give this a reading. Have you read the Goosebumps books before, Hiko Cake? Because it's been a long time since I've read any Goosebumps book. Whether it's the Choose Your Own Adventure or the normal series. Ooh, reading? Perfect. Baby Damien is listening. Alright, that's awesome. Yeah, I imagined that there would be people, stopping by with Goosebumps and all that. I read them in elementary school. Me too! Oh man, I remember in elementary school reading the Goosebumps books, and weird thing was that, like, with one of my elementary schools, we had a computer system where they were giving us quizzes on the books that we would read from the library, and it was like part of grades, I think, or something like that. So Goosebumps books, those were easy quizzes for me. Alright, ready to get started. Are you ready to vote on the choices, Hiko Cake, once we finally get to one? Alright, so first page, beware, do not read this book from beginning to end. Spoiler alerts. They're good books. I'll let you read. And thank you. Excuse me. We're ready. Alright. Don't go in the basement, your aunt warns as you start a game of hide and seek with your 2 horrible cousins. Do you listen? No way! But while you're hiding in the basement, your stomach grumbles and growls. You find an old refrigerator and find a jar of purple peanut butter and a stale chocolate cake. Which should you eat? Watch out, a small taste of one of these foods could cause big trouble. You may never be the same again. You're in control of this scary adventure. You decide what will happen and how terrifying the scares will be. Start on page 1, then follow the instructions at the bottom of each page. You make the choices, so take a long, deep breath, cross your fingers, and turn to page 1 to give yourself goosebumps. You can't believe your parents did this to you. Your mom and dad are off to Europe on a business trip, so you have to spend the summer in Fiskeville with Aunt Fiona and Uncle Harvey, which means spending the summer with your cousins Barney and Dora, which means a summer of torture. Barney is a year older than you and a bully. Dora is a year younger and a whiny pest. Not what you had in mind for your summer vacation. You stare glumly out the car window as your aunt and uncle drive home from the airport. Aunt Fiona turns around in the front seat and beams at you. Barney and Dora can't wait till we bring you home, she squeals. I'll bet, you think. Bad news Barney can't wait to pound me into the ground. Dora the drag can't wait to rope me into playing with her dolls. Uncle Harvey pulls the car into a driveway. You stare at the house. It's 2 stories high and run down. The lawn is choked with weeds. The front steps are cracked and crumbling. Not very promising. At least the creepy cousins aren't around, you think. Maybe you can sneak off before they know you're here. Then a loud bang makes you nearly jump out of your skin. Barney runs out the front door, letting it slam behind him. You slowly step out of the car. Barney's pudgy face breaks into a mean grin under his thick blonde hair. Even though he's only a year older than you, he's twice your size. Whilst your aunt and uncle unload the car, he punches you on the arm, hard. "Hi, wimp," he snarls. Dora skips around the side of the house, holding her obnoxious orange cat, Puff. Dora's black hair hangs in two long braids over her shoulders. She eyes you with a smirk, then giggles. Puff hisses at you. What a summer, you think. Maybe you can spend your entire vacation upstairs in your room. But no. "We've been waiting for you," Barney says. "Let's play hide and seek." Oh no, you think. It's starting. "It's nice to see you're already having fun," Aunt Fiona gushes. "Your uncle and I have to go back to work at the university. I'll take your suitcase upstairs for you." "No, really," you protest. "I don't mind." "Nonsense," Uncle Harvey responds. "You kids go on and play. There's just one thing, it's very important. You can play wherever you want, but don't go in the basement." And we turn to page 23. "Why can't we go in the basement?" you ask. "We haven't cleaned it out since we moved in," Aunt Fiona tells you. "The people who owned the house before us were very strange. We don't know what's down there. It could be dangerous." "Let's get started," Barney commands when his parents have gone inside. "You remember the hide-and-seek rules?" "I remember," you sigh. Who could forget? "Whoever is it gets to pound anyone he catches," Barney reminds you. "Fine," you say. "I'll go first." "Sorry," Barney replies. "It's my house. I'll be it to start. Now go high while I count to 100. He laughs as he waves his fist in your face. Then he shuts his eyes. Gulp, go on to page 108. "1," Barney counts. 2, 3, 4, 27, 28, 50. As usual, your cousin is cheating. You have to find a place to hide, fast. But where? Dora drops Puff and runs around to the back of the house. You want to stay as far away from her as possible. You glance around, then tiptoe into the house. You find yourself in a small living room crowded with furniture. You don't have much time. Where can you hide? You dodge around a couple of chairs. Then you head for a hallway that leads to the kitchen. 70! Barney shouts from the outside. 81! 86! You spot a doorway to the right of the refrigerator. You pull the door open. Steep, splintery steps lead down into a dark, musty-smelling room. It must be the way to the basement. But your aunt and uncle warned you to stay out of it. 93! Barney shouts. Quick, make a decision. Should you forget about your aunt and uncle's warning and hide in the basement, or find somewhere else to hide? So here's our first choice. Do we go down to the basement, or do we find another hiding place? We only have one viewer right now, so I guess it'll be up to that single viewer. Let's see. Should I go ahead and just make a poll for this? Only one person, but... So how's everyone's Halloween's been going today? Mine's been going good. Had a good start. Pizza for breakfast and then cookies for dessert. Ah, man, I've had this book for like years, like over a decade, I think. I suppose in the meantime, Alright, so got the poll up. So there's a minute for people to vote in on whichever one they want. If no one makes a vote on the decision, then I'll make this first decision. I know what's supposed to continue on with the story. Are there any trick-or-treaters going around y'all's neighborhoods? I heard from my sister in her neighborhood that they're doing a parade. I'm not quite sure how that's supposed to work. Basement. Alright. So, to creep down to the basement, turn to page 71. Not that I've noticed, they usually do trick-or-treating in the malls. Ah, interesting. Alright. You glance. I see people walking around in costumes, though. Yeah, I noticed yesterday while I was doing some, errands and stuff that kids around my neighborhood were walking around in costume. They weren't like asking for candy; they were just playing in their costumes. It was cute. You glance around quickly to make sure no one is watching. Then you push open the basement door and start down. The stairs are old. They creak with every step you take. Cobwebs brush your face. What could be down here that's so dangerous, you wonder? You reach the bottom of the stairs. The floor is so dusty it looks like it hasn't been cleaned in 100 years. Feeble daylight filters through a big, filthy window at the back of the room. You start to explore, but there's nothing much to see. Mostly old, dusty, worn furniture. Old couches, old chairs, an old mattress. An old refrigerator and stove, both covered with rust, sit in one corner. Nothing dangerous. Nothing even interesting. But being down here is better than getting pounded by Barney. You sit in one of the old armchairs and wait. Sooner or later, Barney and Dora will get tired of their game. Soon, it will be safe to go back upstairs. There's only one problem. A big problem. Turn to page 14. Your problem is that you're hungry. The plane ride to Fiskville was a long one. All you had to eat was an airline snack of peanuts and a soda. And now you realize that you're starving. Your stomach is growling so loudly you're almost afraid Barney and Dora will hear it. You glance around the basement again. Maybe there were some cans of food. But no. The only shelves contain old carpenter's tools. The only cabinets are full of torn and dirty sheets and towels. You really don't want to go back upstairs. Not yet. Not with Barney, the bully, and drippy Dora waiting for you. What about the old refrigerator? You see that it's plugged in. Maybe there's something to eat inside. Trying not to get your hopes up too high, you approach the refrigerator. The door seems stuck, but you pull hard and it pops open. You spot 2 containers way in the back. You bend down to inspect them and gasp. Something in the refrigerator smells great. It smells so good your mouth starts watering. You were hungry before, but now you're ravenous. Whatever is giving off the smell must be the best tasting food in the world. You pull out the 2 containers and examine them. One is a small jar. At the bottom of the jar is a glop of disgusting looking purple goop. The other container is a white bakery box with a label that says Effie's Bakery Midvale in fancy writing. Inside the box is a thick slab of chocolate cake. You lean down and sniff. To your surprise, the delicious aroma is coming from the purple goop. Smells like a combination of the best peanut butter and jelly in the world with chocolate on top. The cake doesn't have any smell at all. Your stomach growls again. Which will you eat? The wonderful smelling purple goop or the chocolate cake? So this is the first big decision. This is where it really splits off. So I'll go ahead and set up the poll very quickly. One minute for the poll. So which to eat, the purple goop or the chocolate cake? I would set it for like 30 seconds for the time being, but the minimum's a minute, so gonna have to just wait it out then. I'm gonna be very interested to see what the decision here will be. Yeah, on the back of the book, they actually spoil which happens if you eat one or the other, which the cake, of course. I need to grab more bits. Well, the bits are really only if there's like multiple people in here and someone wants to override it with money. That's actually an accurate emphasis on the U.S. political system. And we've got a vote for the purple goop. You weren't able to vote, Mama Hiko? Well, we're gonna go with the... Hey, Gai-10! Did you participate in the poll that just happened? We're making the decision, the purple goop or the cake. And the purple goop won. Oh no, I wanted to vote bits on cake! Aw, you weren't able... It was too slow. Aw, I'm sorry. I thought you would have another vote. It's a new one. Alright, do the goop. Alright, so, if you taste the purple goop, turn to page 17. Cautiously, you stick a fingertip... Yes, alright, awesome. Cautiously, you stick a fingertip into the purple goop. It feels soft and gooey, like peanut butter. I voted purple goop. Alright, cool. And it actually works out fine because it shows your username as purple on my screen, but I see in the chat on the screen what it's actually streaming is red. You stick out your tongue and take a teeny tiny taste. Awesome flavor. It's purple and it's slimy, but this weird peanut buttery goo tastes like a combination of every delicious dessert you've ever had in your life. You lick the rest of the purple goop off your finger, then you stick your finger back in the jar. You can't believe how yummy it tastes. You wish the whole jar were full of the purple paste. Unfortunately, there wasn't very much, and soon the jar is empty. I'm playing FNAF. I suppose that's good for the Halloween season. Soon the jar is empty, but you're not hungry anymore. In fact, you feel great. You shut the refrigerator door and flop back down on the armchair. A moment later, you hear a loud thump at the top of the stairs. You glance up. Your heart sinks when you see what's there. Page 94. It's your cousin Dora smirking at you from the top of the stairs. "You're not supposed to be down here," she whines. "I'm going to tell." "Wait," you cry. "It was an accident. I came in here by mistake." "Yeah, sure," she taunts. "But maybe I won't tell, if you play with me." "Maybe," you say cautiously. "Let's play dolls," she urges. "I have a new dollhouse." You hate playing with Dora. She's really spoiled and has a tantrum if she doesn't get her way. "I'll tell if you don't," Dora persists. What are you going to do? Alright, pull time. Let's see, which one's which? I'm one character short for the second choice. It doesn't get Dora, it just gets Door. Hopefully you all get it. So here we go. Should we play with Dora? For the record, Hiku Cake, if you've got the channel points, which are captain's frames, you can use those for extra additional votes. How's your Halloween been going, Guy E10? Like you say, you're playing FNAF, but besides that, how's that going? Which FNAF is it even, anyway? How many FNAF games are there now? Three, two, one. Give in and play with Dora. Alright. So that's page 35. Good and FNAF 2. Okay. You figure it's too early in your visit to get into trouble. Alright. Where's the dollhouse? You ask Dora. Out on the porch, your cousin answers. Follow me. You start to follow Dora up the stairs when suddenly you have to stop. The strangest... I fucked up on the first night. The strangest sensation comes over you. Your toes and fingers tingle and little pink dots swim before your eyes. Come on, Dora whines from the top of the stairs. You said you'd play. You shake your head and everything is back to normal. That was weird, you think. Maybe you just stood up too fast. Dora stamps her foot impatiently. Do I have to sick Barney on you? She warns. I'm coming. You bound up the stairs. You feel a little tired. Those stairs must be steeper than they look. You follow Dora out to the porch and sit beside her in front of the dollhouse. You have to admit, the dollhouse is pretty cool. It's 3 stories high and filled with miniature furniture. There's even a tiny piano and a little guitar. You reach into the dollhouse to move a chair. As you do, you notice Dora's eyes open wide in surprise. What's wrong? You ask Dora. Why is your watch like that? She asks, pointing to your wrist. Can you guess when this was written? It was like 15, 20 years ago. You glance where Dora is pointing and notice that your wristwatch is hanging loose from your wrist. That's strange, you murmur. The wristband must have stretched. It's metal, Dora points out. How could it stretch? Didn't it fit when you got here? I guess so, you mumble. That's a good question, you realize, but one you don't have an answer for. Now you notice something else. When you first came here, you were 3 inches taller than Dora. Sitting beside her now, you seem to be the same height. How could that be possible? What is going on? There's gotta be a logical explanation. Maybe you didn't notice how much Dora has grown. Maybe you're losing weight. Maybe you're just imagining things. You're looking awfully thin, dear, Aunt Fiona tells you at supper that night. Have some more mashed potatoes. Yeah, wimp, Barney grins. Eat some of my food while you're at it. When his mother isn't looking, he dumps his broccoli on your plate. You ignore Barney, because you've just noticed something disturbing. The table seems a lot higher than it used to be. Something really bizarre is happening to you. I'll feel better after a good night's sleep, you think. That night you have weird dreams about pink dots and tingling toes. The next morning, when you climb out of bed, your pajama bottoms fall off your body onto the floor. What is happening? You wonder in panic. You pick up your pajama bottoms and examine them. They are exactly the same as they were last night. Of course they are, because now you know what the problem is. Your pajamas haven't gotten bigger, Dora hasn't grown, and your wristband hasn't stretched. You have shrunk. Turn to page 50. Oh boy, guys. You run to the bathroom. The mirror is even higher than it was last night. You have to stand on a stool to peer into it. It's true. You look the same, but you're definitely smaller. Getting dressed, you notice that none of your clean clothes fit. They're all much too big. Except the jeans and t-shirt you wore yesterday. They're smaller too. Whatever made you shrink also made them shrink. But what was it? Should have gotten the cake. Yesterday, you mutter. You pace around the room, trying to remember everything you did in the last 24 hours. You're so freaked out, it's hard to concentrate. Okay, you say to yourself, trying to calm down. I've been on airplanes before and I've never shrunk. I've had my arms kicking before, so it's not what I ate for dinner. Suddenly, you snap your fingers. You figured it out. The purple peanut butter. You've never had anything like that before. In fact, you're not even sure what that purple goop was. You better find out, and fast. You race downstairs and straight to the basement. But when you yank open the basement door, your heart stops. It's gone. The refrigerator has disappeared. In fact, all the furniture in the basement is gone. Everything. The basement is completely empty. You rush to the kitchen. Your aunt is just leaving the house to go to work at the university. Aunt Fiona! You cry. Where's the refrigerator that was in the basement? She frowns. Dora told me you were playing down there yesterday, she replies. That rat! You play with her stupid dollhouse and she still told on you. Don't worry, Aunt Fiona goes on. I had all the furniture hauled to the dump early this morning. But, you start to protest. Those old things were dirty and dangerous, she continues. Now it's safe for you kids to play down there whatever you want. She gives you a quick kiss and leaves before you can ask any more questions. You stare after her in shock. You're in big trouble. Or, rather, in small trouble. You're still shrinking. What if you grow so small you disappear? Alright, so we've got another choice to make here. And then... Yep. So, what they describe here is, if you think you can find the refrigerator at the dump, go to this page. If you think you should see a doctor, go to this page. Ugh. Let me guys know if you're not able to vote for different polls, because that's a very strange system to have, where like you can only vote for one poll the entire stream, you know? Two, one. Alright, see a doctor. So, that's page 120. I think it only let me vote one free. That is very strange. Guy E10, you're not having that trouble, are you? I guess for the next one, I won't have the voting be able to get additional votes. I think it only let me vote one free. Well, yeah, I'll be lurking. Gonna take care of the baby, but we'll keep listening. Alright then. You figure the best thing to do is see a doctor. No. Okay. Alright, so you figure the best thing to do is see a doctor. But how will you find one? You check by the phone. That's where parents usually keep emergency phone numbers, and this is definitely an emergency. Again, can you figure out when this was written? You're in luck. There's a list posted on the wall, and right between the phone number for the police and the phone number for a pizza delivery, There's a number for a Dr. Jenner. You dial quickly. You try not to notice how far you have to stretch to reach the phone. A woman's voice comes on the line. Dr. Jenner's office. I have to see the doctor right away, you say. What's the problem? The woman asks. I'm shrinking, you blurt out. There's dead silence on the other end of the line. Please, you have to help me, you beg. My clothes are too big, I can't reach the phone, and my watch. May I speak to an adult? The woman breaks in. Did the first night finally? Oh, congratulations, Gaggy. You can tell she doesn't believe you. No one is home, you explain, and this is an emergency. The doctor is very busy, the woman says coldly, and I don't have time for prank phone calls. You slam the phone down in frustration. Now what? Return to page 12. You've got it. You'll find your aunt at the university. She can get you a doctor's appointment. Or maybe someone at the college will be able to help you. You race into the den. You search in your aunt's desk drawer for directions to the university. Finally, you find a bus map. There are two buses that seem to go to the university. The number 103 and the number 5. They leave from opposite ends of your block. You don't know which is best. You don't want to wake Barney and Dora up to ask them. They've caused you enough trouble already. You'll just have to guess. Which bus will you take? Alright, here's our next poll. So, the 103 or the 5? Looks like 15 more seconds, 10 more seconds. And we're choosing the 103. And I just want to point out here on the book here. Is this it? Wait a minute. Yeah, here it is. So you'd go to page 103 for bus 103, and page 5 for the number 5. Alright, 103. You rush out of the house and make a right, but you have to stop for a minute. Pink spots appear before your eyes and your toes tingle. Once the weird feeling passes, you run down the street towards the number 103 bus stop. When you hurry by your uncle's mailbox, you see it's now higher than your head. You've shrunk even more. Just as you arrive at the bus stop, the 103 bus pulls up. You start to hop on board. Just a minute, says the bus driver. How old are you? I'm 12, you reply. The driver laughs. Nice try, but no 12-year-old could be so small. I'm afraid you're too young to ride the bus by yourself. Come back with one of your parents. But I have to go to the university, you protest. Sorry, the bus driver says. Rules are rules. He shuts the door in your face. Too bad. Looks as if you made the wrong choice, and this adventure is over. But wait, you have one more chance. You can still try to track down the refrigerator and see if the jar of purple peanut butter is inside. Hurry back to your uncle's house. That will be a safe place to come up with a plan. Somehow, you have to get to the dump and find the refrigerator. It's your only hope. But how will you do it? It would take you weeks to walk, and you can't call a taxi. Even if you reach the phone, you're too small to dial. There's only one answer. Somehow, you must get help from your dear, disgusting cousins. You head for the living room. Dora and Barney are sprawled on the floor watching television. Dora! Barney! You yell as loud as you can. But it's no use. Your voice is too feeble to be heard. You approach Dora and tug on her shoe. She doesn't even notice. She yawns and gets up. This is boring. Failed a second night to Withers Foxy. Oh, that's rough. This is boring, she announces. You're still holding onto her shoelace when she begins walking. You grab on tighter to keep from getting squashed. She stops in the bathroom and stands in front of the mirror. You glance up to see her reach into the medicine cabinet. She pulls out a small box. You get an idea. Oh. Dora reaches into the box and pulls out Aunt Fiona's eye makeup. Then she leans closer to the mirror. You jump up and grab a large bath towel that's dangling from the towel rack next to the sink. You begin to climb it using the rough threads for handholds. You've nearly reached the sink when the towel starts to slip. Your weight is pulling it down. Your only choice is to leap onto the sink. You barely make it. You hang on to the slippery porcelain by your fingertips. Then you pull yourself all the way onto the sink. All this time, Dora continues to put on makeup. Badly. She's now applying mascara. Dora! You yell. She picks up a tube and pulls off the top. Then she starts to put on lipstick. She's smearing it all over her face. Dora! You repeat. You try to get right under her and nearly trip over a toothbrush. As you regain your balance, one of your feet slides out from under you. You're skidding on a smear of toothpaste on the porcelain. Somehow, you keep from sliding off the edge of the sink. Dora is still gazing at herself in the mirror. This isn't working. You've got to do something more obvious. Dora turns her head back and forth, admiring her reflection. You'd hate to be the one to tell her that she looks like a clown. You climb into the makeup box and wait. After a moment, she reaches for an eye pencil. You grab onto the pencil. She'll have to pay attention to you now. She picks up the pencil, then stops. Ah! She screams. Gigantic ugly bug! Before you can protest that you're not a bug, she shakes you off the pencil. You drop into the sink. Dora! You cry. But it's too late. She's turned on the water. The ice-cold water hits you, like a waterfall that pushes you down. You struggle against it, trying to breathe. You try to swim, but the current is too strong. And then you begin to spin, faster and faster. You feel yourself being pulled down, down. You open your eyes and see a huge silver circle approaching. It's the drain. You're about to be swept down the drain. The water forces you down the drain pipe. You try to swim, but the current is too strong. You hold your breath as you swirl underwater. Just when you think your lungs are going to burst, you splash in a deep, dark pool. You push your head above water. You suck in a deep breath of air. A big wave pushes you back under. The next thing you know, your body is whooshing along a long, curving pipe. The water slows slightly and you come up for air. Then you're rushing through the pipes again. You gasp for air. Splash! The current lets you go. You're drifting in a big, broad, smelly river. You tread water and gaze around. The only light trickles in through the tiny openings in the grates far overhead. Empty paper cups and bits of food float by you. The whole river smells like rotten garbage. Slimy strings of filth wind around your arms and neck. Gross, you're in the sewer system. You swim to one of the sides, but the banks are too steep and slimy to climb. You can't tread water forever. Already your arms are getting tired. Then something familiar floats by. Okay, we've got a Goosebumps reference in here. Let me go ahead and set up the poll. Okay. So, those are the choices. If the familiar object is a popsicle stick, or if it's a blue plastic can that says Monster Blood on it. Yeah. Yeah, out of the Goosebumps books that I remember reading back in elementary, maybe even middle school, the Monster Blood series was my favorite. So go ahead, get your votes in. I have failed to Marionette. Marionette? Hmm. Ooh, we got a 50-50 split. Popsicle stick or Monster Blood? Well, I guess the only fair thing is to flip a coin for it. So heads, it's a popsicle stick. Tails, it's the cup that says Monster Blood. That 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 didn't count. It's heads, so it's a popsicle stick that we're going with. A tie. Yep. A popsicle stick floats right up to you. You climb onto it. At least you don't have to tread water anymore. But how will you get out of the sewer system? You notice a toothpick floating by. You reach out and grab it. Using it as an oar, you begin to paddle your popsicle stick boat swiftly through the current. After a few smelly minutes, you hear splashing ahead. The splashing sound grows into a roar. You glance up to see white water. The current is rushing into a waterfall. Up to one side is a swirling pool. It looks safer than the waterfall, but the pool is swarming with large brown insects. What a disgusting choice. And they say you might as well leave it a chance. Flip a coin 3 times. Let's not do that. I'm gonna put that up to another vote. Just a quick check right here before I finalize the poll. Alright, the poll has started. So, you want to chance that waterfall, or try to go to that pool with the insects? And for the record, they wanted you to flip it. So, like, if it's heads or tails 3 times, then you go to this page, and if it's 2 heads and 1 tail, or 2 tails and 1 head, you go to another page. Another 50-50 split, and then you contributed 200 channel points. What is... I'm confused. Did you vote for both, Guy? Did you vote for both of them? Another tie. So we are really leaving this up to chance, aren't we? I guess I should have just followed the instructions to begin with. So that's a tails. That's a heads. So no matter what it lands on, we're going to be going on for the second one. The second choice. Oop. You steer toward the quiet pond. The water seems thicker and dirtier here. Your popsicle stick boat moves slower and slower. You approach the large brown insects, and now you see them up close. They're slimy, huge water bugs. They have long, waving antennae and fierce-looking jaws. They are about 4 times bigger than you. Even if you were your normal size, these bugs would be huge. Ew! You cry. You can't help it. You've always found water bugs disgusting, and now here they are all around you. It's your worst nightmare. The big brown bugs climb up the walls and on the ceiling of the sewer. They swim in the water alongside you. They make hideous clacking noises. They're everywhere. Now one of the bugs swims closer to you. Its long, slimy antennae reach out toward the popsicle stick. Its disgusting, hairy legs paddle through the water. The bug's beady black eyes focus on you, and now it's... Oh no, it's trying to climb up on the popsicle stick next to you. Gross! Ugh. The water bug tries to climb onto the stick. You notice that it has wings, which gives you an idea. An idea that makes you want to hurl. You reach out and pat the water bug. Its body feels hard and slimy. It waves its antennae at you. It seems to like you. Great, I found a new friend, you think. A friend who is so disgusting that now even Barney looks good. You pat the huge brown bug again. Then you climb onto its back. It doesn't seem to mind. You grab hold of its antennae and kick the bug in the sides as if you were riding a horse. As you hoped, it spreads its wings. The next moment it's flying. Up, up, up! You've heard that water bugs sometimes fly, but you've never seen one do it. And you hope you never will again. For now, though, you realize you're lucky you found one that can. This is your chance to get out of the sewer. But first, you've got to figure out some way to steer before you slide off the bug's slimy back. You grasp the left antennae and pull hard. The water bug turns left. You pull on the right antennae and it turns right. The antennae work just like reins. You steer the water bug along the sewer until you reach an overhead storm drain. You guide the insect up through the street and through the drain and out into the street. Then you kick the bug in the sides. It begins to fly higher. Soon the town is far below. You scan the countryside, and then you see it, the Fiskville dump. You guide the water bug south toward the dump. The dump is huge. It stretches over several acres. How will you find the refrigerator? The insect begins to fly faster as it approaches the dump. It dips low and skims a few feet above the dump. It's heading straight for a big mound of rotting garbage. Quick, jump off the water bug and turn to page 59. Oh, wait. That was one too far. You roll yourself into a ball and brace for a hard landing. But you're so small now and so light that you float like a feather. The next thing you know, you're standing in a dense jungle of grass. You notice disgusting smells, rotting food, moldy furniture, mildew, and decay. But you don't care. Somewhere out there is the refrigerator with a solution to your problem. All you have to do is find it. You begin trudging through the tall grass. You reach the top of a hill. On one side of the hill is a gigantic pile of twisted metal forms. They appear in all different colors: blue, red, green, yellow. Many of them are covered with rust. On the other side of the hill is a thick jungle of vines and weeds. You can't see what might be dumped among them. You're trying to decide which way to go when you hear a strange, loud noise. It sounds like a hiss. You glance around and gasp in shock. Approaching you through the grass is a dinosaur. Rush to page 128. The dinosaur's long gray body is covered with scales. It grips the ground with cruel-looking claws. Its narrow tongue flicks in and out of its wide mouth. But it can't possibly be here. Dinosaurs became extinct millions of years ago. Then you realize that it's not a dinosaur. It's a gray striped lizard. But you're so small now that it might as well be a Tyrannosaurus Rex. The lizard fixes its beady eyes on you. It flicks its tongue out again. Then it begins marching toward you. It thinks you're its dinner. Quick, get out of here now. Okay, so here we go. Next choice. Alright, here we go. Excuse me while I shift in my chair. So, do we head for the pile of twisted metal, or do we run for the jungle? Excuse me. Some old ads in the back of this book, and it looks like an order sheet here. Yeah, it is an order sheet. There's something on here where you can fill out information to, like you can check off stuff and then you can get those books sent to you. Alright, so we're gonna go for the jungle. That's page 60. You head for the jungle of weeds. The lizard runs after you. It's hard to move quickly through the thick, tall grass, but you're desperate. You pass piles of garbage, broken appliances, black, rotting mounds of ooze. You detour around slimy pools bubbling with the scent of rotting food. Then your feet slip out from under you on a pile of slick, yellow mold. You tumble down a slope, unable to break your fall. You stop rolling at the bottom of the hill. You glance up to find the lizard staring down at you. It opens its mouth wide. Its mouth is so big you'd know it could swallow you in one bite. Then it flicks its tongue out straight toward you. You close your eyes. Are you about to be lizard lunch? You wait in terror for the lizard's tongue to scoop you up, but nothing happens. After a moment, you cautiously open your eyes. A few inches away, the lizard is calmly munching on what remains of a grasshopper. It wasn't after you after all. You glance around this new part of the dump. Just beyond the lizard, leaning against the large boulder, is a big white refrigerator with no door. It looks just like the one your aunt had in the basement. You race over to the refrigerator. Is this the right one? Is the purple peanut butter jar still inside? You're much too little to see what's on the shelves. You'll have to climb in to find out. But how? You search through the garbage surrounding you and find an old piece of kite string. To you, the string is as thick as a rope. It gives you an idea. You discover a rusty safety pin. You tie the string to the safety pin. Then you twirl the pin over your head. Just like the rock climbers use, you think. When the pin is spinning really fast, you throw it up toward the refrigerator shelves. Did it catch? The safety pin clatters to the ground. You missed. Well, you just have to try again. You plant your feet, twirl the rope over your head, focus on the shelf, and this time it works. The pin catches on the top shelf. With all your strength, you pull yourself hand over hand up the string. By the time you're halfway up, your arm muscles are trembling. A breeze causes the string to swing out and away from the refrigerator. You swing back and forth, back and forth. You hold on to the string tightly until the breeze dies down. Then you continue climbing. At last you reach the top shelf. You let go of your rope string and gaze around. Oh no. The jar is gone. All that's left is a chocolate cake box. Now what do? This was your last chance. You get an idea. An excellent idea. In Alice in Wonderland, some foods Alice ate made her grow big, other foods made her small. Could the peanut butter and the chocolate cake work the same way? Maybe that's why they were together in the refrigerator in the first place. Besides, you've got nothing to lose. You look inside the box. It's empty, except for one chocolate crumb and a tiny smear of icing. You're not very big. Maybe it will be enough. But which will you eat? The crumb or the icing? All right. I think this is the last vote for this particular storyline. So, which do we eat? Do we go for the crumb or do we go for the icing? Well, as R.L. Stein writes it here, try the crumb or taste the icing. But, you know what we mean. So yeah, like I was thinking throughout the whole time when I was reading this book that like there's so much Alice in Wonderland. There's a big Alice in Wonderland reference in this, and then yeah, they mention it in the book right here. Kind of feel good. I kind of like that. I would prefer it that way rather than try to go the whole book without referencing at all what Alice in Wonderland is. It's public domain by that point. Thank you very much for the follow, Ahiko. But you weren't following before? Another tie? Ah, we don't have a tie. We've got 2 votes for the icing. So, to taste the icing, we're going to page 107. You bend down and lick up the smear of icing. Then you wait. At first, nothing happens. Then your arms start to ache and your mouth feels strange. Something is happening to you. I thought I was following. Something is happening to you. You watch as the refrigerator appears to grow smaller. You're growing! It's working! You hop out of the refrigerator. As you do, the lizard hops in the refrigerator. It climbs up to the cake box and gobbles up the crumb of cake. Then you turn to head back for your uncle's house. Then you hear a crash behind you. You glance back to see that the lizard completely fills the refrigerator. The crumb made it grow too. The lizard slithers out of the refrigerator. It's already as big as a Great Dane. It starts to follow you. Terrified, you start to run. But it steps in front of you. Back! You tell it. Get back! You search frantically for something to use as a weapon. Just as you reach out to grab a rusty car door, the lizard stretches its head toward you. Its long tongue darts out. But instead of trying to chomp you, it licks your hand. It wags its long, skinny tail. It isn't going to eat you. It likes you. Alright, cool. We can try going another route if you want to stick around. I still got an hour before I need to get ready for something else. I'm going to be participating in a stream with a friend of mine for some Among Us. But for now, I'm going to finish reading this ending, and then we can try a different route if you guys want. The lizard follows you all the way home. It's very friendly. You discover it really likes to play fetch. You can't help noticing, though, that every time it comes back with a stick you've thrown, it has grown a little bigger. By the time you reach your aunt and uncle's house, the lizard is the size of an elephant. Hey, wimp! Barney calls from the porch. Where have you been? Suddenly, his eyes widen and his mouth drops open. He's just noticed your new pet dinosaur. The lizard hisses at your cousin. You pat its scaly back. Easy, boy, you say soothingly. What's that? Barney stammers. You smile at him sweetly. Barney, meet my new bodyguard. The end. we managed to successfully navigate through to a relatively normal ending. We're back to our normal size, and we've got a new pet scaly dog. Alright. So we've got 4 viewers in here now. We just reached one ending, but this book boasts that there are over 20 different endings, if you can read it. So that was just one ending. I don't know how many pages it was of that overall, but there's like, there's almost 100, let's see, there's 135 pages, so almost 140. Alright. Do we want to try going for the chocolate cake next? Let me see. Okay. Then page 23. Alright, so, by the powers of deduction that be, if the purple goop made you shrink, then the cake must make you big. Alright, so we go to page 111. So, Ahiko Cake, we're gonna have the cake this time. I know that you said we should have had it the first time, but no. You decide to taste the cake. That purple peanut butter looks too weird. You're so hungry, your mouth waters when you take a big bite of the cake. The frosting is hard, the cake is crumbly, and there's a funny aftertaste. You've definitely had better. But chocolate is chocolate. Besides, you're starving. Your mouth is open for another bite when you hear your aunt calling your name. Uh-oh, your aunt's still home. You don't want to get caught in the basement. What can you do? Your eyes dart around the basement, searching for a way out. The basement window! You hurry across the room and scramble onto the back of the sofa. By standing on your tiptoes, you can just reach the grimy window sill. You hoist yourself up. Luckily, the window is open. You slither through, flopping onto the grass. Great, no one will ever know you were in the basement. Problem solved. But then you roll over onto your back and face a new problem. Your big, mean, obnoxious cousin is looming over you. Found you, Barney exclaims. Now I get to pound you. You leap to your feet, but it's too late. Barney grabs you by your t-shirt. Let me go, you shout, but it's no use. Barney has always been the meanest bully you've ever known. For years you've dreamed of being able to beat him up. What's the matter, wimp? Barney taunts. Afraid of me? No, you exclaim. You wish you meant it. Barney punches you in the shoulder. You know it will make things worse, but you punch back. To your surprise, Barney lets go of your t-shirt. He stumbles backwards a few steps. Ow! He cries. I didn't know you could hit that hard. You didn't, neither did you. This could come in handy. You give Barney a karate chop in the arm. Stop it! He cries. He starts to run. You can't believe it. Barney is running away from you. You figure it's safe to go back to the house. Barney probably won't bug you anymore. You take 2 steps in, hear a weird ripping sound. Then you trip and fall over. What happened? You sit up and glance down at your feet. No wonder you're tripped. Your toes have burst through the front of your sneakers. You yank out what's left of the sneakers. You wiggle your squished toes. You've heard of outgrowing shoes, but you never knew it could happen so fast. You hurry into the house to find new shoes. You pass through the kitchen, where your aunt is packing her briefcase for work. Why are you barefoot? She asks. I think my shoes shrank, you answer. You show her the ripped sneakers. Perhaps you're just having a growth spurt, she offers. You look a little taller. Up in your room, you study yourself in the mirror. You do look bigger, maybe even a couple of inches taller than you were yesterday. Your shoes are all too short. You have to borrow an old stinky pair of Uncle Harvey's sneakers. They are a little too big for you, but they are comfortable. You're just tying the shoelaces when Dora sticks her head inside the room. I saw you in the basement, she announces, and I'm telling. I know you were down there, Dory continues in her whiny voice. And if you want to play tea party with me, I'll tell. Great, you think. I've been here less than a day and I'm going to get into trouble already. Dora is such a pain. I don't want to play tea party, you shout. Wow, you think, was that me? You can't believe how loud your voice has become. Dora's eyes grow big. She actually looks afraid. You better not squeal on me, you command. Okay, and Dora says, I won't tell anybody you were in the basement. She hurries down the hall. Getting bigger is great, you decide. Anything that makes both Barney and Dora stop bothering you is fantastic. This growth spurt happened at just the right time. Now that you've got your cousins off your back, you decide to explore the neighborhood. As you leave the house, you realize that Uncle Harvey's shoes fit really well. Too well. They aren't big anymore. Weird, you think. You must still be growing. You push the thought out of your mind. You notice some kids playing baseball in an empty field across the street. You jog over to them. Then you hear, Get out of here, shrimp! Barney is glaring at you from center field. So here's our next choice. I hate the character limits for these choices. It's just a little too small with how small I'm trying to condense these choices. Okay, Okay, so. Do we stand up to Barney and join the game? Or do we try to avoid him? Have y'all got costumes for tonight? I could whip something up, but I don't have any costume ideas in mind. I might be busy during the time that trick-or-treaters, if there are trick-or-treaters, would be coming by, so. Fortunately, I'm not alone in the house. There's my parents who can take care of that, but. Yep, doing E.T. Okay, so we got one vote, and that was to avoid Barney. Okay, so turn to page 89. Barney's right. You are a wimp. This adventure is cancelled on account of nerdiness. I forgot that line. This adventure is cancelled on account of nerdiness. What? You want another chance? Okay. You can stand up to Barney the Bully by rushing over to page 26, so. It didn't even matter. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know. You'd glare across the ball field at Barney. You aren't going to let him keep you from joining the game. You're in luck. You won't have to fight him. Whoa. Wait a minute, Barney. Oh, wow. Yeah, sometimes they do that in Choose Your Own Adventure books. I have no control over that. Wait a minute, Barney, says a chubby kid with blonde hair. This new kid isn't a shrimp. Come on, he tells you. You can be on our team. You stick your tongue out at Barney and join the other team. You just hope they don't hate you when they discover the terrible truth. You're the strikeout champ. Come on, kid, the chubby boy says. You're up. You'll give it your best shot. You take the bat and step up to the plate. You gaze at the pitcher, a mean-looking red-haired girl. You grip the bat tightly and wait for the pitch. Strike one! Cries the umpire. You can't strike out, you think. Not with Barney's beady eyes trained on you. You concentrate on your next swing. The pitcher zooms a fastball at you. And then we're going to be swinging our bat on page 135. You hear the sharp crack as the bat connects with the ball. Then you watch, amazed, as the ball takes off, high in the air, clear across the field. Home run! Home run! Some of the kids shout. You notice Barney's mouth dry up open. You don't move from the plate. You stare as the ball continues straight toward a house on the next block. You watch in disbelief as the ball smashes right through the enormous front window. You don't even care that you broke the window. This was your first home run ever. As you round the bases, your teammates cheer. Even Barney looks impressed. You feel great until you hear the unmistakable sound of police sirens headed your way. Uh-oh. Getting in trouble. You glance down the street. A police car is speeding toward the ball field. Its red lights blink and its siren rails. You're in big trouble now, Barney calls. Without looking back, he dashes away. Thanks a lot, cousin, you think. He disappears in the distance. It wasn't your fault, the red-haired pitcher says. It was just a great hit. You better get out of here fast, another player suggests. You don't know what to do. You didn't mean to break the window. But will the police believe you? What will they do? Maybe you'd better hide until they go away. Alright, so here's our next choice. Okay, here we go. So here's the next choice. Do we hide from the police? So do we wait for the police and confess? Or do we hide and run? The costume that I could potentially whip up if it was needed, I remember last year I got a doctor's coat, like a lab coat, and I went as Professor Oak last year for my job's trunk or treat, and then I was just a scientist for the kids coming for candy last year. So this year I could take that scientist costume a bit further. I could be wearing like one of those masks and some gloves. So 3, 2, 1. Oh, just a little too soon on the countdown. Here we go. Run and hide. Okay, we're running from the law. You don't want to get in trouble on your very first day here. You take off running. You notice the other kids scattering in all directions. After you've put some distance between you and the field, you glance back. By the time the police car arrives at the baseball field, it is completely deserted. Phew, you think. That was close. Your rumbling stomach reminds you that you are still hungry. That chocolate cake wasn't enough. As you head for home, you realize that now even Uncle Harvey's shoes are too tight. Your toes are scrunched up inside the sneakers. You walk by a neighbor's window and catch a glimpse of yourself in the glass. You can't believe your eyes. You're at least a foot taller than you were this morning. What is happening to me, you wonder? Am I sick? Do I have a weird disease? If I keep getting bigger, I'm not going to fit into any of my clothes. You stop in the middle of the street. A terrible thought has just occurred to you. What if you never stop growing? You stand there worrying, and a bus pulls up to the curb and stops. You notice a huge advertisement plastered on its side. Getting too big? Clothes seem to be shrinking? The solution is at Arnold's. Who is Arnold, you wonder? And could Arnold's be the answer to your problem? So here's our next choice. Alright, here's our next choice. So, do we go to Arnold's or do we continue on home? Excuse me. Five, four, three, two, one. Go to Arnold's. Alright, so going to Arnold's, page 61. Arnold's could be just what you need. You are getting too big, and your clothes do seem to be shrinking. You ask the bus driver for directions. A few minutes later, you find yourself in front of a sleek, low building. Arnold's Reducing Spa is spelled out in neon. You think. Not exactly what you had in mind. But you might as well give it a shot. Especially since you realize that you've grown another 6 inches on the way over. You wonder why you don't feel anything. I'm going to be playing Among Us. Alright, cool. Just to let you know that I'm going to be playing some Among Us with a friend of mine. I'm going to be hosting his stream. We're going to have some fun. It's going to be a big game. You wonder why you don't feel anything. No tingling, no aching, no dizziness when you grow. You have no way of knowing when it's happening. You hurry through the glass doors. A muscular blonde man approaches you. Hello, he greets you. I'm Arnold. What can we do for you? What can we do for you? I'm getting too big, you explain. Can you help? Arnold flexes a muscle and then beams. Of course we can help, he tells you. At Arnold's, we pride ourselves on returning our customers to their original sizes, and we are offering a free one-day trial membership. This sounds promising. You might try the steam room. Many members have found it helped them lose weight, Arnold suggests. Or our new reducing machine. We haven't tried it yet. You could be the first. Okay, so here's our next poll choice. Yeah, that's the correct order. Perhaps I should do webcam streams more often. The quality of this webcam is actually better than I expected, but probably not for the time being, you know what I mean? I'm potentially getting a new computer for Christmas, so... Let's see, so your character is like 12 years old during this. How tall are 12-year-olds usually? Like 4 or 5 feet? So if you've grown a foot, and then another 6 inches, yeah, it would be plausible to be perceived as an adult. The reducing machine. Alright, so that's page 33. You've decided to try the new reducing machine. I might be getting a Switch for Christmas. Oh, that sounds awesome. Excuse me. You've decided to try the new reducing machine. Arnold leads you to a room full of equipment. He takes you to the largest machine. This is the super duper reducer, he says. The machine is so big it nearly touches the ceiling. It has levers and straps and weights. There's a bench with padding and a seatbelt. It looks like some kind of torture device from an old horror movie. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea. But before you can change your mind, Arnold pushes you onto the bench. You lie on your back, looking up into the twisted metal of the device. Arnold places your head in a big steel helmet. You can't see anything. Only your mouth is exposed so you can breathe. He puts straps around your head, your wrists, and your ankles. Then he turns the machine on. With a loud whirring sound, the machine begins to shake. The straps pull your arms back and forth, making them flap like wings. Some kind of pulley system yanks your legs up and down, making you kick like you would if you were swimming. After several minutes, the whirring stops. Your legs and arms stop moving. Arnold removes the helmet and unstraps you. Did it work? Are you smaller? You don't stand up right away. You feel a little woozy from the effects of the machine. You lie on the bench and gaze up at Arnold. He is staring at you, his eyes growing wider and wider. Not a good sign. Arnold? You begin. Did it work? His mouth opens and closes, but he doesn't answer you. Definitely not a good sign. You leap off the bench. You run to a mirror and your heart nearly stops. You're back to your normal height, but your body is totally changed. The flapping motion made your arms stretch. Your hands dangle below your knees. The swimming movement made your legs as thick as tree trunks. The helmet shrank your head to half its normal size. I'm afraid I got the setting wrong, Arnold says. I should have read the instructions first. Now, he tells you. The end. Cruddy ending to go on, but I'm afraid that's all the time I've got for today's Halloween stream. I hope that you all enjoyed it, enjoyed voting along with me. These books, they hold a special place in my heart, and I've got some nostalgia for them. I haven't read all of them yet. I've got another one. The first one that I ever read was The Little Comic Book Shop of Horrors. Trying to remember which other ones there were that I've read. I remember TikTok You're Dead. That's about... I know that there are more, but I just can't remember enough details about them to say what they were. So, in any case, it might be worth picking up if you got nostalgia for Goosebumps. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and close out my stream, and I hope to see you all later. In about half an hour is going to be that Among Us game with my friend Trailmix Blazer. I'm going to be hosting him on this channel, and let's see how many imposter rolls I get. Thank you, and goodbye.